This is Chris McKaylee and another edition of our California government terms. This is on the letters all the way through G. Early action is a relative term to signify budget actions that occur prior to the normal June effective date. This is the date that a measure takes effect. It is January unless the bill has an urgency clause or a different specified date. When voters cast their ballot to elect individuals to public office. The process for a regulatory project undertaken by an executive entity to address an immediate emergency. The procedural requirements for California's Administrative Procedure Act found in the California Government Code. Period of time, an initial period of 180 days with a of 20-day extensions under emergency rulemaking. Enacted into law is the legislative process. Enacted bill is the final bill passage through the legislature and approval by the governor. Enacting required under the California Government Code to begin with the phrase do an act as follows. Enactment date is the day that the engrossed bill is a bill that's been properly amended. Engrossing is the processing of a bill clerk of the House, the Senate, or Assembly, either after an amendment is made or before the bill for final action. It refers to when the text of the bill is checked for any error made. Enrolled bill is the final form of a bill that's presented or her final action. Enrolled bill file, now compiled by the governor's office for each bill that reaches the governor's desk and has relevant consideration. Enrolled bill report. This is done by the Department of Finance, a relevant state agency, as well as the office are appropriate, and is provided to the governor's office regarding a bill that has reached action. Enrolled bill rule is a judicial doctrine that says it will not second guess whether a bill met all of the relevant procedural. Enrolling, this is the point where the bill is sent to the excused absence when a legislator is not in attendance at an official legislature, but his or her absence is excused by the legislative leadership. Official order from the governor. Executive session or closed specified conditions when a committee meets in private without members of the existing law section is the part of the Legislative Council digest what existing law does in relation to what the bill to change in existing law. Ex officio member is an commission because of their regular position and usually has the authority to expel a member. The legislature may, by a 2/3 vote, expel Assembly or Senate by a floor vote. Express repeal. Statute or part of a statute has been repealed by the language found. Expunge the record, a procedural motion to delete from the official is an action that was previously taken by the body. Extraordinary session or the governor may call the legislature into special or extraordinary session to proposed in the gubernatorial proclamation. Fellow, an Senate, Assembly, Executive, or Judicial Fellowship, and works in an office of the branches of state government. File, this refers to the Assembly or Senate daily file that's published each session day. It contains valuable information, bill information, committee hearings, and the members. File notice. The joint rules require a day or 2-day daily file notice for committee hearings. File number is the number assigned to a legislative measure of the legislature, and it's listed in the Assembly or Senate daily file. This begins upon adjournment of the second and final year of the 2-year finance letter. These are the revisions to the budget bill or the current proposed by the Department of Finance and addressed to the legislature. Findings and declarations are made by the legislature in a bill, usually an uncodified language, a basis for that measure. First reading, when a bill is introduced, it is read first time. Fiscal, whether a bill has been keyed fiscal by the Office of Fiscal bill, a bill must go through the fiscal committee after the committee. Fiscal committee, this is the term that refers to an appropriations committee or the Assembly Appropriations Committee. Fiscal committee deadline to pass their fiscal committee. Fiscal emergency special session, Prop 58 from 2004, adopted by the voters, authorizes the governor for specified fiscal emergencies. Fiscal estimate, the term often is used to describe the estimate provided by an agency to the legislature's fiscal committees, cost or cost of a bill. Fiscal year, California's fiscal June 30th of the following year, which is different, of course, than the federal October 1 through September 30th. Floor, it's the term to describe the floors of the Assembly and Senate chambers where the two houses meet. A written document sent by an interested party in support of or in opposition a legislative measure on the Senate or Assembly floor. Floor enacted by the floor units of the Assembly or legislative measure that is pending on the Assembly or Senate floor. Floor manager, the legislator in the second take up the measure from the House of Origin on behalf of the bill's author. For example, a senator takes up on the Senate floor an assembly bill for a floor session. This refers to an assembly floor when they meet in their respective chambers. Floor unit who staff the four legislators and primarily the Senate and Assembly floor sessions and the preparation activities leading up to those floor sessions. Form 700 or Statement of Economic Interest. It must be annually filed by appointed officials disclosing their economic interest, potential conflict of interest. Former member, a previous member. Friendly amendments are amendments that are proposed by another on the floor that are supported by the bill's author. Fund balance, budget purposes, this is the amount of the excess of a fund's resources over its expenditure. This is the area above the Assembly or Senate chambers where members of the observe floor proceedings below. GAN limit or the SAT limit is the constitutional limitation on the maximum amount of tax that state or local governments may appropriate in any given fiscal year. The 687 fiscal year appropriations and is adjusted annually. Neutral drafting is a more modern method of drafting legislation. Gender in the words, for example, to police officer. General fund or the G account for revenues, primarily from the personal income tax and the use tax and corporation taxes. A general law city is governed by state law. A general statute generally to all those similarly situated. It is a law that has or operation, and it is the opposite special or a local statute. A general tax is a tax generally, for example, on the personal, the opposite of a special tax. Germane amendment, these are amendments that are the subject matter of the current legislative measure in print. Gift nation of the state constitution that the change in law would be providing a of taxpayer dollars for an individual or group that is prohibited from taking place. GO bond or a general obligation bond is a debt secured by the state's general fund and usually used for funding infrastructure projects. A goldenrod is an official written communication, such as a drafting of legislative council. Governor is the chief executive of the on a statewide basis. Governor's budget summary is to the governor's budget that outlines the governor's policies, goals for the budget year. Governor's proclamation is an official state call a special election. The governor's reorganization plan or process by which the governor can reorganize executive branch departments not disapproved by the legislature. Grandfathered current conduct is not included in the bill's provisions so that the current conduct is to be affected by the prospective change in the law. And finally, gut and amend the bill, remove the current contents in their entirety and replace provisions which are unrelated to the original contents of that particular